And I guess the other thing with Fall Fest, I wanted to just give you guys a little heads up with I don't know where to start. We had an issue with some committee members who felt that the city clerk was overstepping the bounds of her job description when she insisted on knowing where some of the money was. It came time to go home, and you guys authorized the check for the change for part of this, and I said, where's the money? And nobody wanted to cough it up. And I didn't push anything, I just found out where it was. And then I got yelled at very publicly. I still didn't say anything. Cindy was there. Cindy witnessed all this. They did end up handing me the money, but
a throw.
They threw the money at her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know, nice. I guess my question from you guys is, in this situation when it's city money out there and I'm at the event, don't you expect me to at least, if not secure the money and put it away, at least know who's got it?
Well, I think on something like that, we're going to have to make whoever gets the money responsible for it until they bring it back to the office here. I guess that would be...
When I called on it, they wouldn't even tell me who had it. We had to go track it down.
Well, that's not...
No.
Well, I guess our resolution that we made earlier will make either the president or the treasurer come get the money. Or
Secretary.
But I was trying not to be heavy-handed with it, but feeling like it was my responsibility when I had handed off cash that belonged to you guys to at least know where it was before I went home. I got called a thief more times that day than I've been called a thief ever, but it's over, it's done. They, they had counted it. They were worried that I was maybe not gonna, account for it correctly. Well, they had already counted it. Well, then what's your issue, So anyway, I am, for your information, no longer a part of the 125th Celebration Committee. I'm sorry, but every good deed you try to do in a volunteer basis, sitting in this job in this chair, comes around to bite you in the butt, and I'm tired of getting bit in the butt. So.
And on that note, I know since Nancy has gotten off that group, she has been asked to make flyers, I believe, for that group. And I don't think that should be done on city time unless we give her the permission to be doing that. I mean, I think it needs to be brought to us if they want her help as a city employee.
Yeah, taking time away from the business strategy for the fundraiser or whatever they're doing, I think,
Then, well, I guess...
I mean, that's what we have the Auburn newsletter for. And Nancy is responsible for the Auburn newsletter that goes out after each council meeting. And if they want to put stuff, it's for. But if they come to her on a private, a private event that they're going to be doing, I don't think she should be the one making up the flyers.
No.
Okay, so now, yeah, but if it's for one committee, it has to be for all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't single out just the 125. You
Well,
have to do it with all of them.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying, but as long as it's on the newsletter that we do monthly anyway, that's fine. But yeah, you can't just make up a flyer now that she's not on that committee in volunteer time. It's not right to make her do it during office hours. Unless they want to charge time out to that.
Thank you for remembering to bring that up, because that one fell out. So yeah, and I did tell them that I wouldn't do it until I asked your permission, and so they went and did it themselves, so it's all fine. But, yeah, I don't see that as a good use of taxpayer resources.
No, that's fairly easy.
That's a quality thing, you know.
Yeah, so, okay.
They do it themselves.
Anything else on that one?
But did we answer your question about the money? I mean, I think if, like with the rec committee, if Nancy gives me money, I'm the responsible one to give her
Right.
the money back,
Mhm.
not throw it at her, not call her a thief, not
Well,
whatever.
I mean, what do we need to do about that then? I mean, what's the best way to, do we need to confront that person and
I think
Well-
we could send a
I
letter
think we
to
need to
them.
at least set up a policy that if you come get city money for change, it needs to be back in our deposit no later than noon
Well-
following business day.
Right,
Or
and that's what the
responsible,
deposit, the drop box is for. I mean, I
Right.
use that a lot for rec committee stuff. You know, if they wanted to keep it overnight or whatever they wanted
Right.
to do with it, but it still needed to be brought back here. And I don't think she was out of line by asking who had it
No.
at all.
Well, I asked for it, and I got a very nasty reply. It's none of my
So-
business.
I don't know if we need, I don't know how to handle it. If we need to send out a
Well, how much
letter.
money do they have
You got
now
hung up
in
on.
there?
well, that's
Well, it'd
not
be on
very-
here.
Did they-
Well, what they handed me in that one, in those 2 bags was about $800.
$800
In
that
cash.
day. It's on your
I mean,
treasure report, but
mostly cash, but.
I mean, are they
I
at
mean,
a
it's
point where
not
they can
that-
stand on their own for making their own change and things now? Or,
No,
they still gotta
no,
go
it
through
still
you
has
because
to
it's a
come out of
city.
yours,
city
yeah.
fund,
Yeah, they
right?
don't have
Yeah.
to,
You guys are still accountable for
Right.
that money.
we are
Yeah.
accountable for all of that.
Yeah,
they don't have their own tax ID.
no, that's right.
It all has to come past us.
And
So I don't know how to handle it.
I wasn't trying to
I
be
don't-
heavy-handed and say you have to give it to me now. It was more of, where is it? And it got ugly when they said that they had no intention of giving it to me. That's where it got kind of ugly, and I went, that's exactly what I did was, huh? Yeah, and so,
Well, I don't understand, because you're eventually gonna handle it anyway. And if you're gonna steal from it that night, you could very easily steal from it that next day.
well, and it was more a matter of, you know,
mean,
and
from that aspect.
I went to another entity who had money for the day as well and said, do you want me to take it and secure it now, or do you intend to drop it off in the box tonight or first thing in the morning? She said, well, I'll drop it off tonight or first thing in the morning, and I walked away and said thank you. But I knew who had it. I mean, I was not trying to be heavy-handed and say, you must give me this. That wasn't it. It's more of who has it and,
Who was responsible for
Yeah.
the money and who was responsible for dropping it off. That's all she wanted to know.
Can we
Sure.
perform a letter or some paper form stating, I am responsible for this amount of cash that I've taken for this particular
make
program?
each one of those people sign a
Mhm.
receipt
Yeah.
for the change?
One of those two that are approved for the charge accounts. I mean, either your president or your secretary's coming in to get
Who's
it.
ever coming in to get
That's
the
your
money?
choice. But they're responsible.
Mhm.
That's a step. Yeah, I think that's
I
a
mean-
step. I can do that.
Because
That's
then
very
at least
easy to
you know
do.
who's accountable for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Well,
you guys
back
know who
in.
signed for
And
it.
if they don't wanna
Councils.
if they don't wanna pop it back up, while that person's still responsible for it.
Because it's in writing that we
And then
have.
you wouldn't have to
Yeah,
worry
have
about
a,
Nancy.
have a spot, have them give you their driver's license then and there so that you verify that you didn't forge somebody's name. Photocopy it and that way you got something to go off of it if we have to go after them court-wise or whatever at some point. You know, I hate for it to go there, but
Yeah.
I mean, that way there's physical proof that they were in the office, they received the money other than just a signature.
And then, yeah, well, that would also, then, I guess then you wouldn't even have to worry about asking them about the money, because they would be responsible for it regardless.
And have terms on there that
You know who
this will
is-
be returned by noon the next business day. Or,
Put a draft together for us, Nancy can have
Okay.
us take
Yeah.
a look at it.
we just send it out to all the committees so they're aware of it before anything goes again?
We can put it in the newsletter or something like that.
I'm afraid to send things like that out because you just blow up a
Backfire.
bomb.
Okay.
If you're gonna introduce something new like that, you better do it in a personal conversation, I
I'll
think.
invite him
It's
to
true.
the council meeting and,
And I don't think she should have to do it.
no, that's our job.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
start, maybe we'll have to go to each committee meeting.
Or like Justin said, just invite them
Just
to
tell
the
them, you
council
guys,
meeting.
we want you guys at this council meeting, we'll have a private session, and can we go private for that, probably?
Close.
Close.
It's not
Probably
that.
not.
Okay, well, either way, I mean, but address
I'd have to
them,
research it for sure, but probably not.
make sure each president of each committee is here and they know how it's gonna be.
Well, and, you know, the thing we found with the audit, and it's things like each committee has to keep minutes. Well, they aren't filed, they don't have to be filed here, but if the auditor wants them, they have to be available. Each committee has to post an agenda no less than 24 hours before their meeting. Those things need to be followed, and I end up being the one who notices those things. And I want you to know that when I note that something's going on and they're not following those laws, they're not rules, they're not something I made up, they're the law, then I'm gonna bring that to you guys.
Yeah,
What about if we request one member from each committee at our next council meeting and bring it up?
what should we do the next
Discuss
one,
it.
or before, should we get this finalized first?
Let's not
Or-
do it
or
at the next
form.
one, let's get all our ducks in a row with exactly how you guys wanna address it. You
Proceed
guys
with
think
it.
about it a little bit, about how you really wanna address it. We don't have to do it tonight, I mean, this one's over and my hiney's almost healed and,
I know, but if we don't get on top of it, it's just gonna continue to happen.
you're
Right,
right,
right.
you're exactly
Well, I
right.
think next month we definitely have to have action, or a policy set in place.
Yeah, I'll draft something up and
Do we have any work
I'm-
meetings or anything for this
not
month?
until January, unless you really wanna have one in
Nope,
December.
no.